Welcome to a Psalm for Sunday. I'm in Psalms chapter 15, 15th Psalm, verses 1 to 5. A Psalm of David. Lord, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell on thy holy hill? He that walketh uprightly and worketh righteousness and speaketh the truth in his heart. He that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, or taketh up a reproach against his neighbor, in whose eyes a vile person is contemned, but he honoureth them that fear the Lord. He that sweareth to his own hurt and changeth not. He that putteth not out his money to usury, nor taketh reward against the innocent. He that doeth these things shall never be moved. Now here's a question that David answers in the very first psalm, Psalm 1:1 to 6. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. And then the word used here in verse 4, contemned, with a T, means to despise, to scorn, and to hold in contempt. Here in verse 5, it is clear that it was illegal, in keeping with the law given to Moses, to charge interest in money loaned to a fellow Israelite. In my comments on Exodus 22:25 in context, I had said, a usurer lends money at interest. Leviticus 25:36 and 37. Take thou no usury of him or increase, but fear thy God, that thy brother may live with thee. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. This wasn't our current understanding of usury, of excessive interest, but as it stood in pre-capitalist Christian nations and in Islam, the charging of any interest at all as a profit on money. The interest on money lent was a great source of social unrest in ancient Rome, as farmers would go further and further into debt to ease the burden of bad harvests until they lost their farms. In this way and others, large landowners would accrue massive land holdings. Our modern banking and finance system would not exist without charging a profit interest on money lent. This is not like investing in a merchant's trip to a foreign country and expecting a share of the profits, but the bondage of being constantly in debt to interest charged. In America, during the colonial era, before there were any commercial banks, most loans were private arrangements between individuals. So the difference is, if I invest in your farm or your business and expect to share in the profitability, that is not usury. If I loan you money and expect a profit on the return of that money, that would have been considered usury. For instance, as it was considered in England before Henry VIII's rule in the 1500s. Economics, particularly finance, can be quite complex, so I apologize for oversimplifying the subject. Hebrews were forbidden to charge interest to each other. Imagine that. They could charge foreigners, though. Deuteronomy 23:19 to 20. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. And to a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury. That the Lord thy God may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand to in the land whither thou goest to possess it. I've read that other ancient Near Eastern cultures permitted the charging of interest, allowing for wealth to be consistently gathered into fewer and fewer hands. Here represents another distinction of separation of the Hebrews from those around them. In verse 5, David makes it clear that the person who does not charge interest on money or take a bribe to exact domination over the poor shall never be moved from God's favor. Bribery and human government go hand in hand. Americans like to think of it as occurring only in other countries, but it is commonplace here. I was reading a book on American comedy recently as an example, and they noted eyewitness accounts of nightclub owners in New York City decades ago having a schedule of bribes they had to pay to open their doors. Prophetically, moving forward, we know that Israel violated many, if not all, of these principles and commands. So I would recommend that you read Jeremiah 9 and verses 1 through 11 and Nehemiah 5 verses 1 through 13. So you can, make a note or stop the video and read them. What are we to make of this? I think this provides us with some moral guidance that is often ignored in the world. I'm reminded of what Governor Pliny said to the Emperor Trajan, which in part said, and I'm quoting from his letter, they asserted, however, that the sum and substance of their fault or error had been that they were accustomed to meet on a fixed day before dawn and sing responsively a hymn to Christ as to a God, and to bind themselves by oath not to some crime, but not to commit fraud, theft, or adultery, nor falsify their trust, nor refuse to return a trust when called upon to do so. Quote unquote. Now, this passage is not doctrine, however, for the church age, the age of grace, in that we are not saved by following these precepts. Our dwelling in heaven is not challenged by failing to adhere to these moral principles, but our life on earth is greatly enhanced and blessed by taking these to heart. So I hope you will consider this psalm today, pray about it. As you can see, like I said, it doesn't have 100% applicable nature to Christianity, but I want to read it again and read these verses again. Um, Psalm Psalm 15, verses 1 to 5. I'm going to go right to my Bible online, and very short psalm. Lord, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill? He that walketh uprightly and worketh righteousness and speaketh the truth in his heart. He that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor, in whose eyes a vile person is contemned. He honoureth them that fear the Lord. He that sweareth to his own hurt and changeth not. He that putteth not out his money to usury, nor taketh reward against the innocent. He that doeth these things shall never be moved. So keep that in mind. He not backbiting with your tongue, not doing malicious things to your neighbor, not taking up reproach against your neighbor, and honoring God. So this this is a very important psalm, even though it's a very short psalm. I hope that you'll pray this, think about it, contemplate it, read your Bible, study your Bible, cross-reference the verses, pray to God for wisdom and understanding, and ensure your interpretation with someone else who's been prepared for you and is right there that needs to hear what you have to say. And if you want to purchase my comments, you can get them on Amazon or follow me on Blogger. Um, or just if you watch the video this far, please click like and subscribe. And I really enjoy studying the Bible, writing about it, and then sharing what I've written in a video. I enjoy doing that. I just want to get it out to as many people as possible. And I hope you'll help me do that. Thank you.